Most people want success, but almost no one wants to pay the price. They want the rewards without the scars. They want the spotlight without surviving the storm. But here's the truth. They'll never teach you in school. Success has a cost, and if you don't pay it, you stay average forever. So let me ask you, how long will you keep underpaying your destiny? How many mornings will you sleep through your potential? How many years will you trade for comfort? While your calling bleeds out in silence because the clock is running and the invoice is growing. The only question now is, will you pay it? Or spend the rest of your life watching someone else live the dream you were born for? They say success is expensive, not in dollars, not in gold, not in fame, but in something far more valuable: your comfort, your peace, your sleep, your ego. The question isn't whether you want success. Everyone wants. The question is, what will you sacrifice to earn it? Because make no mistake, success is never given. It is rented, paid for daily, with sweat, with focus, with silence, and sometimes with pain. Look around you. The world is filled with people with dreams, but it's not filled with people who pay the price. Why? Because comfort is seductive. Because average doesn't ask for sacrifice. It doesn't demand growth. Average lets you sleep in. Average lets you scroll for hours. Average tells you you've got time, but that's the lie. You don't. Time is not a gift, it's a loan. And the clock, it collects interest. Every second you waste, every day you delay, every excuse you repeat, cost you pieces of the future you say you want. Success doesn't care what you say. It listens only to what you do. Thomas Edison failed 10,000 times before the light bulb. You think he didn't feel like quitting. You think he didn't taste doubt, but he paid the price in failure, in ridicule, in obsession. Because he understood, success isn't a reward, it's a receipt. Winners are not born, they are forged. In dark rooms, in silent battles, while others sleep, they grind. While others escape, they endure. While others doubt, they believe. They pay and pay and pay until the world has no choice but to hand over the prize. You want to be successful? Then stop searching for shortcuts. Stop waiting for perfect. Stop needing permission. The truth is, success doesn't come to those who hope. It comes to those who are hungry, relentlessly, endlessly, unreasonably hungry. Hungry enough to say no to distractions. Hungry enough to walk alone. Hungry enough to look failure in the eye and say, "You don't scare me." Because the moment you choose to chase greatness, the moment you burn your excuses, you declare war on average. And average will fight back. Average will whisper in your ear, "Just rest today. You deserve it." It will remind you of your fears. It will bring up your past. It will point at your scars and say, "See, you tried once. Look what happened." But what average doesn't know is that you've changed. You've seen the illusion. You've smelled the rot behind comfort. And now you want something more. Not just survival, but significance. Not just applause, but legacy. Remember this. Every great one you admire paid in full. Abraham Lincoln battled depression, public failure, betrayal. He paid. Walt Disney was fired from a newspaper because they said he lacked imagination. He paid. Oprah was told she was unfit for TV. She paid. Ford went bankrupt 5 times. He paid. And you are not different. The question isn't can you succeed. The question is, will you endure the cost of becoming who you were meant to be? Because success has no empathy. It doesn't care how tired you are. It doesn't feel sorry for your past. It doesn't wait for you to get ready. It rewards the obsessed. It honors those who show up bleeding, broken, but breathing, and still move forward. Discipline is the currency. Sacrifice is the tax. And belief. Belief is the foundation that carries it all. Do you believe in yourself when no one claps, when the results are invisible, when the nights are long and the world is silent? Can you keep going when you feel forgotten? Because that's where most people quit. They think the silence means they're failing. They think the delay means not meant for me. But delay is not denial. It's a test. It's the universe asking, do you want this enough to wait, to work, to bleed for it? Every day there are 2 paths in front of you, the path of ease and the path of excellence. One asks nothing from you and gives you nothing in return. The other, it asks everything, your time, your pride, your consistency, your patience. But in return, it gives you everything, not all at once, not on your timeline, but exactly when you've earned it. Don't you dare envy the person who has what you want if you're not willing to do what they did. Don't you dare wish for their glory if you avoid their grind. You can't cheat the system. You either pay or you stay where you are. And let's be clear, staying average is not free either. It has a price too. The regret of never trying, the pain of what if, the torment of watching someone else live your dream, not because they were more talented, but because they were more willing. This life will not hand you success. It demands a trade. Are you ready to trade your comfort for conviction, your distraction for direction, your doubt for discipline? Because every moment you hesitate, someone else is moving, and there are no pauses in the race to greatness. You either rise or you remain. You remain in the same place, same thoughts, same fears, same habits that built the cage you now sit in. And yet deep inside a voice whispers, you are made for more. Not for average, not for mediocrity, not to blend into the background of a life unlived. You were made to rise, to turn chaos into clarity, to mold weakness into weapon, to break the cycle your family couldn't break, to become the first, the rare, the undeniable. But the gate to that life is guarded by hardship, by rejection, by sacrifice. And most people, they see the gate and walk away. But you must knock louder, kick harder, break it down if you must, because on the other side is your real life. The one that echoes in your soul, the one that makes sense of your pain. See, greatness is not found in motivation. It's found in movement. It's forged when you do the hard thing, not once, but every day. Not when it's easy, when it's impossible. That's where champions are built. In empty rooms, in early mornings, in quiet nights when no one sees, but you still show up. Let the world laugh. Let them doubt. Let them talk behind your back. They're doing what average does. Let them. Your job is not to explain. It's to execute, to build in silence, to sacrifice in secret, to master yourself until the results make the noise for you. Because one day they'll ask, how did you do it? How did you become that version of yourself? And you'll smile, not because of pride, but because you'll remember the nights you cried, the days you bled, the voice that almost made you quit, and still you didn't, because you understood. Success was never about luck. It was never about talent. It was always about the price, and you paid it. You stopped chasing comfort and started chasing character. You stopped chasing applause and started chasing alignment. You stopped asking for permission and started giving yourself command. That's what separates the greats. Not their genius, but their grit. Not their fortune, but their focus. Not their confidence, but their commitment, even when they were afraid. You think Michael Jordan didn't feel fear? He used it. You think Elon Musk wasn't mocked? He welcomed it. You think Beyonce didn't doubt? She danced through it. Greatness is not the absence of struggle. It's the decision to keep going through it. And if you don't choose that path, if you choose average instead, you will still suffer. But it'll be the suffering of regret, the pain of wondering who you could have been. If only you'd had the courage to pay the cost. Regret is the most expensive currency of all. You won't see its cost today. But one day, maybe years from now, when your hair is gray and your dreams feel distant, you'll look back and realize the price of staying average was your entire life. You'll remember the mornings you didn't get up, the distractions you let steal your momentum, the fear that froze you in place when you should have taken the leap. And that pain, that hollow ache of knowing you had more in you will be unbearable. So today, choose your suffering, the suffering of discipline, or the suffering of regret. There is no third option, because no one escapes the price. No one? You either suffer now and win later, or escape now and lose forever. But if you do choose to pay, if you rise early when no one's watching, if you walk away from mediocrity, if you declare war on your own excuses, then something starts to change. Your mind sharpens, your back straightens, your soul begins to burn again. Because deep down, we're not afraid of hard work. We're afraid of being alone on the road to greatness. But here's the secret. The road is never crowded at the top, because very few are willing to climb. So let others scroll. Let them binge. Let them sleep in. Let them laugh at your obsession, because obsession is the language of success. And one day that obsession will build you an empire, not just of wealth, but of purpose, not just of influence, but of impact. The world doesn't need more noise. It needs more warriors, more builders, more leaders who've been through hell and kept going, more souls who paid the price and now walk with quiet power. Because when you've earned it, you don't need to prove it. When you've walked through fire, you don't need to announce it. You become the message. You carry the gravity of greatness in your presence alone. But don't think it ends there. Success is not a finish line. It's a way of life. Every level you reach demands a higher version of you. And every time you plateau, life will whisper again, are you willing to pay the next price? Because you never stop paying. You never stop growing. You never stop becoming. And those who stop, they fall. Back into comfort, back into excuses, back into the shadows. So don't stop, ever. The price you're paying today, it's not punishment, it's preparation. Preparation for a life so powerful, so unrecognizable, that even your future self will say, thank God you didn't quit. Thank God you didn't quit. That moment will come. It won't arrive with fanfare. There won't be confetti, no marching bands, no headlines. It will come in silence, maybe one morning, when the sun hits your face differently, and you feel it. The weight is gone. You've crossed something invisible, not just in the world, but in yourself. You'll stand taller, not because the world gave you permission, but because you earned it. The late nights, the lonely work, the sacrifices no one saw. They gave you something money never could. Self-respect, power, certainty, a belief forged not in books, not in podcasts, but in fire. See, the cost of success is not just about what you give up. It's about what you gain within. You lose the weak version of you, the one addicted to excuses. You kill the coward in the mirror, the one who begged for comfort. And what rises is a force that cannot be manipulated, a mind that cannot be broken, a soul that cannot be bought. You become rare, and in a world of copies that is priceless. But let me warn you, this journey never gets easier. You get stronger, and as you grow, the stakes rise, the expectations rise. The voices of doubt, both yours and theirs, get louder. But now you know what to do. You've already faced yourself. You've already said yes when it hurt. You've already climbed out of the pit others drown in. You've proven to yourself, I can pay the price. I will pay the price. I was born to pay the price. And with that fire in your chest, you'll stop asking, what if I fail, and start asking, what happens if I don't try? That's the mindset of kings, of queens, of leaders, creators, warriors. That's the mindset of those who leave legacies, not footprints. They don't chase comfort, they hunt purpose. And they don't count the cost, because they've already decided. Average is unacceptable. Let others settle. Let others watch. Let others shrink. You rise. You step into the storm. You build when it's boring. You persist when it's painful. You execute when it's invisible. Because you know that's the only way to become undeniable. And one day they'll ask how you did it. They'll say, you're lucky, and you'll smile. Not because it was easy, but because you'll know the truth. It wasn't luck. It was paid for in full by you. Yes, drive it home. Take a deep breath, because the climb isn't over. You're about to enter a place few ever reach, the final cost, the one most feared, the one that demands not just action, but transformation. See, success will strip you bare. It will rip off the layers you wore to please the world. It will demand you let go of the lies you clung to, that you're not enough, that your past defines you, that greatness is reserved for someone else. And when you stand there, exposed, uncertain, that's when the final prize shows itself. It's not money, it's not effort, it's identity. To step into your future, you must bury your past self, the one who blamed, the one who waited, the one who flinched every time life got loud. That version of you, the scared version, the hesitant version, the almost successful but not quite version, must die. Because success doesn't just ask for your hustle, it asks for your rebirth. Do you understand what that means? It means letting go of the comfort of who you were. It means standing in front of the mirror and saying, I'm no longer that man. I'm no longer that woman. I am something else now. Not someday. Not after results. Not when they believe. Now. Because identity is not a reward. It's a decision. Carnegie decided. Lincoln decided. Jobs decided. They didn't wait for applause. They acted like the person they were becoming. Before the world caught up, you must do the same. Talk like it, walk like it, work like it, bleed like it. Because once you become that person internally, the world has no choice but to reflect it externally. But beware. The world will test you one final time. Just when it looks like you've made it, just when the results begin to show, it will whisper again, "You've done enough. You can slow down. You can rest." That's the final trap, and it's where most fall. They think the mountain ends, but the truly successful, they know there is no summit. There is only the next climb. So what now? Now you choose again. You choose hunger over comfort. You choose obsession over distraction. You choose purpose over everything. Because once you've paid the price, you realize something beautiful. You were never chasing success. You were chasing you, the real you, the buried, silenced, doubted version of you who was waiting for the fire to return, and now it has. You are not average. You never were. You were just living below your potential under the weight of excuses until now. Now you rise, now you build, now you lead, and now you make a vow. Never go back, never shrink, never settle, because you've already paid the cost, and it's time the world saw the return. So go, build the life no one believes in until they have no choice but to believe in you. Be the story that others tell when they need hope. Be the proof that it's possible. Be the fire that sets the world ablaze. Because success has a cost, and now you've paid it in full. But even now, something deeper is calling you. Because once you've paid the price, truly paid it, you realize success was never about the money, the mansion, the recognition. It was about who you became in the process. And that is the ultimate treasure. See, people think the reward is outside, the car, the house, the lifestyle. But the real reward, the priceless victory, is the fire inside that will never go out again. Because once you've awakened the beast, once you've endured the storms, once you've silenced the doubt with daily discipline, you're no longer playing the same game as the rest of the world. You're no longer running towards success. You are success in motion. You've trained your mind to command reality. You've taught your spirit to bend chaos into clarity. And now nothing can stop you. Because you've become a force of nature, not loud, not boastful, but undeniable. The kind of presence that shifts a room without speaking. The kind of focus that makes ordinary men uncomfortable. The kind of purpose that cannot be bought because it was earned. They don't teach this in school. They can't. Because this kind of wisdom is carved into your bones through suffering, branded onto your soul through long nights and lonely roads. You paid for this with everything, and now it belongs to you. So when you walk now, walk like you remember what it took. Walk like every step is proof of survival. Walk like a king who bled for his crown. Like a queen who buried every excuse. Like a warrior who knows the war is never over, but welcomes the next battle with a smile. Because this fire inside you, it can't be extinguished. Not by failure, not by rejection, not by loss. Because you're not the same anymore. You are disciplined in chaos. You are silent in storms. You are focused in noise. You are unbreakable because you were broken and rebuilt stronger. So don't apologize for your greatness. Don't dim it for people who chose average. Don't slow down so they feel comfortable. Don't explain why you're obsessed, why you're different, why you rise when others sleep, why you demand more when they're satisfied with less. Let them wonder. Let them whisper. Let them label it arrogance, because that's what small minds do when they stand in the presence of someone who's already won the war within. And you just keep building, keep rising, keep becoming, because now you carry a truth most will never understand. Success has a cost, but you paid it, and it made you unstoppable. Unstoppable. That's what you are now. Not because the world crowned you, but because you refused to bow. You walked through the fire. You looked fear in the face. You bled. You broke, but you never backed down. And now you carry the rarest kind of power, conviction. Conviction that doesn't shake when doubted, that doesn't crumble when challenged, that doesn't flinch in the face of chaos. Because you know, not think, not hope, not wish. You know who you are. You are the one who chose pain over pleasure, silence over noise, mastery over mediocrity. While they chased dopamine, you chased destiny. And now it's yours. So what comes next? More. Not more suffering, more becoming. Because now that you've awakened, you're not chasing goals. You're chasing greatness. Not for applause, not for validation, but because there's a fire in your bones that won't let you rest, and knowing that there's still higher to climb, deeper to dig, more of yourself to reveal. And every room you walk into, will feel that, not because you say a word, but because your presence speaks louder than any voice. You're not interested in proving anymore because proof was paid in full. Through years, they'll never understand. You don't explain now. You just execute. You don't compete now. You just command, because kings don't chase the crown. They become the standard. And when others see what you've built, when they finally notice, they'll ask how. They'll ask when. They'll ask what the secret was. And you'll look them in the eye, the same way you once looked into the mirror, when everything was on the line, and you'll say, there is no secret, just the cost, and I paid it. Don't let this be another video you watch and forget. Let this be the line you draw, right here, right now. Because if you don't pay the cost of your purpose, you will pay the cost of your regret. And I promise you this, regret is far more expensive. So stand up, step forward, and prove to the world and yourself that you were never meant to be average. Like, share, subscribe. But more than anything, ACT, because success still has a cost, and today is your chance to finally start paying it